Hey guys, the Explorer 4 here, the Horror Boy. Welcome back to some more reviews. And today, we're going to get into another requested review. This is a request by Devin, aka the Master of Fear. He requested me to talk about Ghostbusters. This is the 2-disc 4K Blu-ray set. And I must say, if you're a fan of Ghostbusters, either or, one or two, I recommend that you pick this up. Because not only does it look and sound great, but it also is loaded with features. I mean, there's commentaries, documentaries for both, music videos, featurettes, like old school featurettes, poster still galleries, deleted scenes. I mean, the list just goes on and on. So, a very awesome job on this Blu-ray. Says here, Columbia and Sony. So, great job on this release. It was really cool. But one day I do want to talk about Ghostbusters 2 because Ghostbusters 2 to me is one of the most underrated sequels of all time. It's one of my favorite sequels of all time. So I really love the sequel. Ghostbusters that we're talking about today is just Ghostbusters, the original Ghostbusters, is in my top 10 favorite movies of all time. So obviously, following this movie up, I wouldn't say Ghostbusters 2 is as good, but I will say it's a pretty damn fun sequel that, I think is really underrated. But Devin wanted me to talk about Ghostbusters 1. And I actually thought about it, and I never discussed Ghostbusters on my channel before. And it's crazy to me because I'm a huge fan of this movie. Both of them. Big fan of both of them. I always watch them back to back. And, they're just, to me, great movies. They're a great double feature. They go together very well. The story is complete, and the way that part 2 ends, to me, is a good ending. It's a good ending to the story, and both movies tell a great overall plot line and story. And Ghostbusters, I mean, it's gotten so much recognition over the years for being one of the best comedies of all time. And also being one of the most revolutionary films as far as using special effects. Because this movie didn't have a giant budget. I mean, I'm pretty sure it had a budget to it, but it didn't have, an endless budget. And they were able to pull off some pretty impressive special effects. Now, this movie came out in 1984, gets a 7.8 on IMDb, and was written by Ivan Reitman. Now, Ivan Reitman has made a slew of classic movies. Big fan of Ivan Reitman. And Dan Aykroyd, I believe it was Dan Aykroyd and Harold Ramis worked on the script, and this movie was kind of being talked about for a few years, and then it finally ended up getting in production. I know this isn't the first Ghostbusters. Like, there's another one from the 70s. It was a cartoon, but it really doesn't have much to do with what this movie has. And this movie is classic. I mean, it's a masterpiece. This review probably won't be tremendously long because I really can't say more about Ghostbusters that hasn't been said. I mean, it's a classic. It's got some memorable dialogue. The special effects, to me, still hold up in my personal opinion. Yeah, some of the special effects you can tell a little bit aged, but for me the special effects are just amazing. At the fact that they didn't have endless budget to work with, the fact that they had a fast pace, production, and also being the fact that this was back in 1984. They were probably working on this in 83, and there was no CGI back then. CGI wasn't even a thing back then. This all had to be done with models or matte paintings. I think maybe blue screen was used back then. I don't think green screen was used back then. Like maybe blue screen. I don't know. But a lot of the special effects you see in this movie they're just effects that really revolutionized the 1980s. And I think we're also improved in the sequel. The special effects in the sequel, to me, still hold up. Here they still hold up as well, but, there are a few effects that have kind of aged over time, but that Marshmallow Man, the Stay Puft Marshmallow Man, that scene still holds up to this day. There's not 1 ounce of that scene to me that seems phony. It really is legitimate. It looks pretty realistic for the time. And the way they did it, it was a very practical way to do it. It just really holds up to me. But yeah, this movie just has so many classic scenes, whether it's the dining room scene or when they go to the motel. Ray, he's looking at me. He's a nasty little guy, isn't he? He's an ugly little dude. I think he can hear you, Ray. Or when they get their first call, and they're talking about, oh, this is the last of the money. Slow down and chew your food. Or the library and Bill Murray. I mean, talk about this cast real quick. We got Bill Murray, Dan Aykroyd. You've got Harold Ramis, Sigourney Weaver. This Ernie Hudson, Rick Moranis, Annie Potts, William Atherton, David Morganis as the mayor. Just this cast is amazing. Like one of the best casts in film history. And everybody plays their parts extremely well in this movie. And I love the story. Whether you're talking about just the story of the comedy and just how character interactions are, or even down to the villains. Like, the Gatekeeper, the Keymaster, Gozer. It's a great set of villains there, and it's an interesting way they did it. And I liked how practical it was, how it looked, and that scene where they enter the other dimension, where I think it's where Gozer is. I believe it's Gozer. I always get the names mixed up, but I believe it's Gozer's realm. Just the way that looks to me is just fantastic, and especially on Blu-ray. I was like, whoa, like that really held up. But that classic scene, are you a god? Oh, no? Then die. And then Ernie Hudson, if someone asks if you're a god, you say yes. I love that. God, I love this job. There's just so many classic scenes and classic dialogue. I like the slower scenes too, where it's more dramatic. The romance scenes, those all work as well. So to me, what makes it the perfect movie, or at least one of the perfect movies to me, is it nails everything it sets out to do. It's fun, it's entertaining. It's also got some good character moments and dialogue. It's also got a great cast and a phenomenal job from the director. It's also got a really well done written script that I thought was on point. It's got wonderful performances in the acting department. It's got phenomenal special effects. The music is on point. I really, really love the music in this movie. Saving the day. Of course, Ray Parker Jr.'s Ghostbusters theme song, which is just gone on to be one of the most famous pieces of music in history. That no matter what year it is, if it's Halloween, you're hearing the Ghostbusters theme song somewhere. It's become synonymous with pop culture, and I love the idea of catching ghosts and putting them in this trap. And in the second movie, we be fast and they be slow. Two in the box, ready to go. I love that. It's just like the fun idea of them catching ghosts. It's a cool idea, a cool concept that I thought was well done. And I also played the Ghostbusters video game, which pretty much put you in the spot of being a Ghostbuster. And it was just a really awesome video game. If you haven't played that game, it's kind of on an old console. I wish they would remaster it one day. Like, literally just redo the graphics, and that's all you have to really do, because it still plays very well. It's just, even the graphics don't look that bad. It's just, all you would have to do is just remaster it and give it some new graphics and, maybe update some things here and there, do a side story, DLC type stuff. I would love to see a remaster of the video game, but if you haven't played the Ghostbusters video game, I recommend it. It's a really fun video game. And it kind of plays off like a Ghostbusters 3, because it does follow Ghostbusters 2. It even has elements of Ghostbusters 2, in that game. But yeah, I mean, I don't know what else I could say. The story, it's very basic. You got Peter Venkman, you've got Ray Stantz and Egon Spangler. Uh, that's how much of a nerd I am for this movie. I know their names. At least I tried to remember their names. But you got Ray, Egon, and you've got Bill Murray's character, Peter Venkman. They're all three at this university, and Peter Venkman's kind of a scam artist. He's kind of not taking science very seriously, and they get thrown out. And Peter Venkman's like, you know what? Call it fate, call it karma. I believe it was destined to be thrown in this dump. Why? So we can go into business for ourselves. And then they're like, how can we get the money? I don't know. And then, like, Ray sells his house, and they go to the fire department, and they set it up for their, ghost busting company or their business that they're doing. And they get their first call, and they begin to get better at catching ghosts, and the Gozer villain gets more powerful. The story's classic. I really enjoyed the story to this movie, and, it was cool seeing them saving the day, saving the day. It was cool seeing them win. They're all a bunch of, guys who, they were thrown out of this university. They're kind of the underdogs. They were the misfits, but now they've all come together to form the Ghostbusters, and they've won. And now everybody loves them. They're being cheered, and it's a great moment at the end of the movie. I will admit, that's the one thing that in Ghostbusters 2 does bother me, is the fact that in that movie, they get hated again. It's like, well, why did they get hated again? That was like something that really bothered me. I was like, why would the city hate them again? It doesn't make sense to me. But yeah, I can go on and on. But honestly, there's not much else I can say. It's a masterpiece for a reason. It's my top 10 favorite movies of all time. One of the best comedies of all time. And, Bill Murray does great. Dan Aykroyd, Harold Ramis. You've got Sigourney Weaver also being a great love interest. Just a great cast. Ernie Hudson as well, doing a great job. But yeah, this movie is awesome. You got the asshole character Walter Peck. Yes, it's true. This man has no dick. Well, it's only what I heard. Dogs and cats living together, mass hysteria. I mean, the dialogue is just absolutely quotable. You can quote it all day if you really wanted to. But yeah, Ghostbusters, this was an awesome recommendation and request. I want to say thank you so much, Devin, for requesting this review. Hope you enjoyed the video. I'm going to give Ghostbusters a 9.5 out of 10. It is fantastic. From top to bottom, great movie. But anyways, guys, thanks for watching my review on Ghostbusters. I hope you enjoyed. Definitely let me know your guys' thoughts on this film in the comments below. Do you like it? Do you not? Let me know in the comments. But anyways, thanks for watching. Have a good night, day, morning, whatever it is.